What's up, everybody? Welcome to this webisode here on OG 55. Today, we are talking about a new coaster that was just announced by Legoland going to California here and also Florida over there. So, yeah, we're going to do this. So, let's get into it, guys. I got OG right over here, the man.
Right here.
I got George, the Italiano. I'm not used to this side. So yes, thank you guys so much for joining me today. It's absolutely always lovely to talk and to talk theme parks with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Thank you, George.
Yep, always a good time. The three amigos, getting the band back together, always a good time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. So guys, shall we dive right into this?
Let's do it.
Perfect. So we have we have the new coaster, right? That we did a video on this. What was that, like about 2-3 months ago, guys? Around that time, right? We did a video on the Lego Galaxy coming to California, right? At the time, I wasn't sure if it was going to go to Florida, but I was talking to Theme Park Wizard about a month ago, and he said that he saw plans that they were going to bring that over to Florida, which is actually awesome. So, OG, you know how you always say that they always do stuff in twos, man? Twos. Right. So it looks like that's going to be the case, which is actually awesome. And here's another cool thing. This is going to be Legoland's most expensive attraction. Okay. There's a little area in Legoland, California. It's called Lego Movie World. Okay. That is a newly redone area. This one attraction for the Lego Galaxy area that's going to host this coaster, that coaster by itself is going to cost more than that, and both coasters on both coasts are going to cost $90 million.
That's incredible. And honestly, Ebba, this is pretty cool. On this article, it says here, the cornerstone of the proposed land, which would feature an intergalactic theme similar to Disneyland's Tomorrowland, is an outdoor roller coaster housed inside a 44-foot tall, 32,000 square foot Lego themed spaceport. So this is cool. And I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, Ebba, but like this to me basically sounds like Lego Space Mountain, and you cannot get any more badass than that.
Basically, yeah. Basically, it's being compared to Space Mountain at Disneyland. So it's a Lego version of Space Mountain. I have heard personally of some really cool things that I will not say, but it is. I mean, if we go through the archaeology, I'm not sure if there's if they talk about what they're going for here in terms of like the new technology and stuff. But like, if you scroll down, can you guys see that?
Yeah,
right here.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
So it says this isn't just a ride; it'll be an exploration unlike any other. We're sparing no expense to deliver the most innovative, interactive, and captivating experience possible. So that's interesting. Innovative and interactive. Boys, what do you make of that statement right there?
What do you think, George? What's your take on this, brother? Because, Legoland has been kind of overlooked by a lot of theme park enthusiasts. And I think, unfortunately, because from what I've seen, I haven't been yet, but I will be there with these guys in May. But it seems like Legoland does a lot of great stuff. Do you think, George, this is going to put Legoland parks on the map, so to speak, for like more like theme park people?
I think honestly, it definitely gives something to draw attention to for new guests, for potential existing guests to say, you know what, hey, at least they're putting in an effort to try to expand, try to add more experiences, which that's what any thriving themed theme park wants to do. If they kind of just leave it as is, it's like they're throwing in the towel, and it's like, okay, it is what it is. The fact that they're even putting in an effort, and as you had said, Ebba, $90 million for both. I mean, that's a pretty steep price, for a small theme park. So that really shows that despite it being a small theme park, they have really giant cojones, that that they want to, they're hungry for it. As OG goes, they're hungry.
They're hungry. Well, yeah, and they have to be. And one of the reasons why I talked to Ebba about this on a recent WEBISODE video, we're talking about this where Universal is not just giving Disney a run for their money lately. I mean, they are. I mean, they're going for Disney, absolutely. But they're also kind of going after Legoland. This kid park they're building in Texas.
Yeah.
you know, is going to be a huge, believe me, Universal ain't going to stop at one kid park. If this kid park in Texas like does amazing numbers and it's really successful for Universal, they're going to put those across the country. That poses a big threat to amusement parks like Legoland. So Legoland, I think, is smart. They see this coming and they're like, you know what, we have to step our game up if we want to stay relevant. And I think this is a good move, man. I think this could potentially really impress a lot of theme park fans, and I think they need something, because it would be very easy for Lego to get lost in the shuffle with the Titans, Disney and Universal kind of battling it out. Go ahead, George. Sorry, brother.
No, you're good. And look what the overall theme is for this new attraction. You guys basically said it. It's a Lego version of Space Mountain that kind of gives off like that Tomorrowland-ish kind of feel. So that's even Legoland taking a little bit of a jab at Disney, because, you know, these themed entertainment companies, you know, they're on social media. You know, we may not know who's listening to social media conversation that they say, oh, you know, what's Disney doing? They're dropping the ball with the Tomorrowlands, you know, both at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. So what's Legoland going to do to keep up with the curve? Oh, you know what? People are kind of wanting this kind of like intergalactic kind of, you know, space adventure, but Disney is not giving it to them right now. So maybe if we give the fans kind of like our interpretation of it, maybe they'll bite that worm on a hook, so to speak.
Now, Ebba, I want to ask you, do we know how intense this thing is going to be? Like, because we do know they're ramping up the quality, you know, obviously innovative. They're going to spend a good amount of money on it. But do we know if this is going to be like, it probably won't be Space Mountain speed, but is it going to be a little bit more intense than like the average Legoland thing? Do we know?
Yes. This will be the most like intense ride that they have there. Because they have Dragon, Coastosaurus, and Technocoaster. Technocoaster is like a Goofy Sky School. You know, I know a lot of people are actually afraid of the mouse type of rides because you're going to fall off. I like them; they're fun, but they're basic, right? They're kind of off the shelf little rides. The Dragon is actually really cool. I can't wait to take you guys on it because there's actually like a slow dark ride portion in there. So that's pretty cool. But again, it's like a very, you know, kid, like it's slower than Gadget's Go Coaster. I put it that way. And then you have Coastosaurus, which is so short, you go twice. It's so short. So they don't have anything there's no ride there that's intense, like even Thunder Mountain. So this will be their most intense ride there, which is actually very exciting. And real quick, going back to your point, OG, when we were talking about the kissing, because that was a fantastic point, dude. If Universal, because here's the thing, Merlin owns the Legoland parks, right? So Fiona Eastwood, the new CEO of Merlin, has a lot on her plate, because not only do they have Universal coming in with this Universal Kids Park to start stomping on, you know, Legoland's kid-friendly parks, but now they're going to be going to, it's confirmed, right? They're going to the UK to make a whole new theme park.
Right.
The UK is Merlin stomping grounds. Merlin is from the UK. You cannot have a competitor theme park come to your country and be like, bam, we're taking over. So it's like, what does Merlin do? They have to compete with the Legolands and have Legoland compete with Disneyland and Universal, stuff like that. At the same time, now they're going to be in direct competition with Universal because they're going to be in their own backyard.
Well, yeah, and Disney's already out there. Disney's already out there in Europe with Disneyland Paris, right? Yep. So you have Disneyland Paris. You got Universal now moving into the UK. The giants are there, bro. Merlin has to step it up.
Not to mention, a lot of the UK travelers go to Florida. You know, whether it's for like Walt Disney World or Universal Orlando. So the fact that a Universal park is going into the UK, that takes away a lot of foot traffic of UK visitors going into Florida, which again, you know, can grasp onto to say, hey, you know what, while we're here, let's check out Legoland. But if they're going to stick over there with Universal having their own park over there, the travelers aren't really going to come in. So yeah, this should definitely Legoland, you know. So that's
Sorry,
I have a yeah, you're
especially
good.
outside.
Yeah, you're good. I have a question for you, Ebba, because you were mentioning some of the attractions, and I actually commend Legoland the fact that they allow a ride to go twice, so they actually admit to the fact of that it's too short. So it's like, okay, we'll let them go twice. You know, that's cool.
Yeah.
But with Orlando and California, do you know, are there any significant differences in the Legoland parks?
Oh, like just in general?
Like just
Yeah.
in general? Yeah.
Yes. So Legoland Florida is not its own built from the ground up park. Legoland Florida actually Legoland took over Cypress Gardens. So that's why when you see pictures of Legoland Florida, there's a lot of gardeny, pretty flowers and stuff like that because there was a previous attraction or park there before Legoland went and took it over. So the park is actually laid out like in a kind of straight line almost, whereas Legoland here it's very much more kind of like a almost it's not really a circle, but more of like you can go around the park. Over there, it's more you just kind of go through the park. It's very straight. So like the layout's completely different. And really like other Legolands too also have actual sky towers, kind of like at SeaWorld. They have like those sky towers. Legoland California doesn't have that because it's right next to the Carlsbad Airport. Like literally I'm at work, planes are flying over. So they can't have that, which also makes it hard to have fireworks as well. They don't have fireworks either for Christmas or for New Year's, and that's about it. But yeah, I mean, each park, they have similar stuff. Like each park will probably have the dragon ride. The layout might be a little different, but it's roughly the same. They might carry a lot of the same attractions, the same type of food, even the same type of contracting companies that work at Legoland. They'll work at multiple different Merlin attractions as well. So they're all generally the same. I wish they were more different. But I guess, like OG, again, to your point, if you want to save money, build multiple of the same thing. So
yeah, it's like anything else. Like when you buy in bulk, that's like Costco, right? You buy in bulk, you get it for cheaper. It's the same thing with theme park stuff. Like when they build these attractions, when you go to the manufacturer and you're buying 2 of everything or even 3 of everything, it's more affordable. They get deals or whatever on that. That's why it's so popular for these companies like Disney and Universal to clone stuff. Because at the end of the day, it is cheaper to do it than it is to do. That's why we got like 2 Galaxy's Edges that are like the same thing. Now ideally it would have been cool to have 2 different versions of that land, but we got the same thing because, well, it's cheaper to build it the same.
Yeah, exactly. So actually there's more I want to talk about too. Okay, so I want to can you see this?
Okay. Yes.
Cool. So I want to actually dive further because there's actually more to this than just the coaster. Because the coaster, while it's really exciting, I want to highlight this. Because remember how I always talk about how with SeaWorld and like Legoland, it's very hard to build projects because of a lot of requests they have to put through. This is one of them. For the project, Merlin needed permission from the Planning Commission to raise the building height from 45 feet from its existing maximum 35 feet. So real quick before we dive further, is that with stuff like SeaWorld and Legoland, if you want to exceed a certain height of feet because you're by the coast, you need extra approvals. There's more red tape you have to go through. Why that is, I'm not exactly sure, but that's another thing that can really kind of delay the process is a lot of these red hoops they have to jump through.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of like, we had a lot of that discussion with the Disneyland Forward stuff where Disney was like kind of not fighting, but like trying to like campaign to the city like, hey, we can do 100 feet right now, but can we do 300 feet, and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting to see how all these companies have to like work within their local governments to get this stuff approved. It's more complicated than just building it.
Well, exactly. And here's the thing too. They're not, at least I don't know how it will look like because I'm not sure the extra spacing, if it's for like extra storage or maintenance or whatever, but I'll show you guys these pictures in a sec. But the construction, if you go on one of the rides, you can see they dug like a lot into the ground. So that building will be building from down there and going up above the ground. So I think there might be trying to get some extra feet out of that, or maybe that's maintenance stuff. Not sure. But right here, though, George, I want to ask you, when you guys were at SeaWorld, did you guys go on that Turtle Reef Rapids attraction that was by the shark thing?
The like the river rapids.
No, it was like gondola boats, and like they kind of spun. It like it's like a flat ride basically. They're like little yellow boats. You sit in it and you just.
I saw it when we were passing by, but we didn't ride them.
Okay, perfect. I'm glad you saw it because you'll know what I'm talking about. So according to the proposal, the new Lego Galaxy Land would also have a smaller space-themed lift and spin style ride akin to SeaWorld San Diego's Riptide Rescue, as well as retail options, a children's play area, and other interactive attractions. OG, what do you think about that, my friend?
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, Disney, when Disney builds these lands, they usually put at least 2 attractions in there, typically, right? It makes sense. It's good that Lego is doing a similar kind of dynamic here. You're going to have the Spaceport, Space Mountain thing, and then you're going to have this, like, it seems like a younger kind of attraction. Am I gauging this correctly? This is kind of a younger, or maybe not so much.
It's George, how would you describe this? Because you saw it at the park, so how would you describe this type of attraction that you saw at SeaWorld? Because it's basically going to be the same type of ride.
It's sort of like a
Is it like Grizzly kind of?
No. It's like see, I can give a description of like what it's like for me, but you've never been to Kennywood Park. But it's sort of like what we called the Barren Curve, but instead of it being like gondola boats, they were like toboggans. That's just because of the theme of it, where it basically kind of like you're on a platform, but you're not like raised in the air, and it just keeps on. You go around doing like a bank circle.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Okay, and no, I haven't heard of Kennywood because I'm a Californian, sir.
Looking for the broccoli.
No, I'm just kidding. I have heard of it. But okay, so but my overall point is it's good that they're having a variety in there. They're gonna have this like spinny thing. We'll call it that. The spinny thing, and. Yeah, the spinny thing, the thing that spins, right? But they're gonna have that. They're gonna have the Lego Space Mountain. Essentially, it fleshes out the land. I think that's good.
Yes, and also too, having this other extra flat ride actually increases now the I think it evens out because driving school. Because where this is being built where driving and junior driving school was. Junior driving school and driving school took over Police and Fire Academy. So you're kind of evening out the rides, but I think having this flat ride is a lot more exciting than having the lame Fire Academy thing. That was dumb. I'm glad they're getting rid of that. So I think it'd be cool. You have 2 thrilling type of attractions there. That's going to be dope. Plus you have like the little kind of kid play area still. And it's all going to be, Lego space theme, which I think is going to be really cool because Legoland currently doesn't have any like space themed areas. They had space stuff back in the day when they had Star Wars properties inside the park. But now that, Disney took over, they don't have that anymore. So now they got to create their own space stuff, which I think it's good. I think it's good to utilize your own properties or your own characters, create new stories out of current characters that you have for new attractions and whatnot. Now,
real quick, Eva, I just want to say, I hope we get walk around characters like this. That's what I want to see.
Oh no, we have that.
Oh, you already have this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shit.
Yeah, cool. So that's Benny. You'll find him at his meet and greet or like dancing in a Lego Movie World, which is one of the newer areas of the park. So he fits. I mean, Benny fits perfect though in this new space area. I mean, I used to love these figures as a kid. These space people. You take the helmets off and everything. They're dope, dude. And this is perfect. You have a bunch of Bennies walking around like the new Lego space area. It's fun. Well, I think the reason why he's in Lego Movie World is because there's a movie called the Lego Movie, and I believe he's one of the characters in it, along with Emmett and some other Lego girl chick. But because they want him in like part of the movie in Lego Movie World, they put him in there. If I'm correct on that.
Well, it's also fitting that his name's Benny because Benny and the Jets, kind of pay. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. A little homage to. Elton John, which today's his birthday. So
Happy birthday, Elton. We love you, buddy. Happy
There you
birthday.
go.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So,
Go ahead, OG.
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, so I just actually want to move on to the pictures now from Florida.
Let's do it.
So okay, let me. Mr. Weber presents.
Mr. Weber presents.
All right. So this is because I looked at this and I was like, this doesn't look like my park. So someone on Reddit posted these pictures because there is actual pictures. If you guys have access, that special access to the San Diego Tribune Union articles, which I do not have because you have to pay for it. They actually have a nighttime picture of Legoland, California over like this in this type of style. However, both coasts are getting the same coaster. So the layout is going to be the same, right? So if you look at it, it was interesting, guys, because when I first saw like the ground, right, shovels in the dirt, tractors in the dirt, first I thought they were going to do like a square building. But if you look at it though, right? I mean, look at this. It's kind of interesting. It goes like this, and then it does this, and then it has like this kind of weird angle over here. And then goes like, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, huh. And then here you go. Here's another nighttime shot, right? So it goes back over there, this way, and then an angle this over here. So I'm assuming this part here is going to be the front where you have the queue going in and out of the show building. That's my guess. This looks like it's on like flat land, but if you actually look down here, there's walls up. So when you're on the ground level, this is actually dug down deep. So it looks flat from the aerial view, but it's actually not.
And this is a pretty sizable area. I mean, I know we're kind of eyeballing it right now, but I mean, that's a pretty decent footprint.
Yeah, well, especially because you figure this is only the coaster attraction. That's not going to be the child play area. That's not going to be that flat spinner ride either. So it's going to be a nice size area with two attractions, which are badly needed for both parks, and some extra goodies for the kids, right? So what they're working with for the space size is actually pretty good for Legoland, in my opinion. George, what do you think, buddy?
I think honestly, for one attraction, like, yeah, I agree. That's like a good, decent size piece of real estate there. And the fact that, as you said, that's just for the one attraction, that's not counting the other, spinner ride, that's not counting the play area. Maybe they'll add in, some maybe like quick service, like restaurants or something. I'm not sure, like the extra logistics behind it, but again, it's very promising to see a theme park like Legoland that's not willing to give up, that is willing to play with the big dogs, so to speak. And honestly, I commend them with that. The fact that they're investing in their parks, they're putting out the money for it, where you got to give credit where credit's due. And I mean, we talked about this several times on the show already, but unlike Disney, at least we could start seeing some shovels in the dirt.
Yeah, exactly. And George, you make a great point. This is huge, and it's not counting, as they say in PA. It's not counting. Not counting the other areas. You know what I'm saying? So it's perfect, absolutely perfect. Yeah, but you're right though. In all seriousness, George, you're absolutely correct. It's like at least we have shovels and dirt. They're making moves. We did a video recently about this Pandora thing over at Disneyland Resort. It's really frustrating. We've gotten no news really on any of it, on where it's going at DCA, and it's like I feel like they're dragging their feet. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Daddy Josh proves us wrong with this stuff, but. Yeah, but at least we see with Legoland, I mean, hey, shovels in dirt, actual movement. So good news. Good news.
Yeah, I really think, George, because me and OG were talking about this, and we touched on it earlier. But, OG, I think it was you asked me, right? You asked me, what do I think about their demographic, right? Because the whole ages 2 to 12 thing, right? I think that was fine for when the park first opened and whatnot. Yeah. Especially way before like the social media age, especially before YouTube became popular. Now we're in a really heavy competitive theme park market. Like this, certain demographic is not going to work. You're going to lose. Like when you go to the park at Legoland during the weekday on a non-holiday weekend or school break or whatever, the park is dead. Every ride's a walk-on. And even though that's great for as like a guest, oh, I can walk on all these attractions, right? Here's the problem. You barely have, like, at least for Legoland, you barely have any of the food places open because there's no need to, because there's not many people in the park, right? So some more stuff is closed. And it's like, well, Legoland's also not making a lot of money because now they're relying on the pass holders. They're doing what Disney kind of used to do, was on the slow, soft seasons, rely on the locals and pass holders to kind of go into the park. But now we're in an age where there's going to get stomped in the ground and be left to the dust if they don't really pick it up and bring in attractions that everybody can do. And that's a problem with Universal, is that, you know, they still have all these spinning, throw you upside down, twisty, loopy things where they're fun and exciting, but not everybody can do them.
Yeah. And to speak of Universal, I think that one of the things with Lego, I agree with you. Lego is a franchise that everybody loves. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, right? And I grew up on Legos. Kids growing up today are growing up on Legos. It's a generational thing. Everybody loves Lego, right? But with the parks, and this is the same thing that Universal, I think the big mistake with Universal and Nintendo is making. With the parks, they think it's just kids stuff.
Yeah. So
they gear everything towards kids. But Lego, the franchise is bigger than just kids. They should diversify. Try, even if you have to separate your parks, maybe make a Lego park that is for everybody, that does have fast, crazy rides and is like for teens and adults or whatever. Like, diversify. There are people my age and older who love this franchise. Why not tap into that too? Don't shortchange yourself, Lego, and only have little kid stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's the big issue I have with Super Nintendo World. And it will probably change when they do Zelda and stuff like that. But right now, even Epic Universe, it's a bunch of kid rides. It's Mario Kart, it's Yoshi, even the Donkey Kong thing is a kid coaster. It's like Nintendo is a franchise where, again, I'm older, right? I mean, I grew up in the 80s. I love Nintendo, but there's not a whole lot for my generation who loves Nintendo. It's not just little kids who loves this franchise. There's older people who love Nintendo, but there's nothing for us. It's all kiddie stuff, You got to diversify. You got
exactly.
it.
George, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a lot of potential, and I really feel like that Legoland has to move away from its original demographic. It has to, and not even really just Legoland, just every theme park. I mean, they're all kind of, it's a dog eat dog world out there in the theme park industry, as you mentioned, Ebba, that you can't afford to go one way or the other. You can't just have a demographic just for the little ones. You can't just have a demographic for thrill seekers. You have to have a blend of everything, whether, as OG said, have two different parks or just have separate lands within the park. That one land is more geared towards thrill seekers, another land's geared towards younger kids. No matter what, they have to look at everybody, because essentially the consumers that are paying to go into these parks are the adults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's my money, and not to sound greedy or selfish, if I had a little kid, it's my money that they're going on. So I'm not paying my money for my kid to go and have some fun. If I'm paying it, I want to have some fun too. Like,
well, and that's the thing. That was the mission statement that Walt Disney sort of laid out for Disneyland, right? And believe me, Walt was not a dumb dude. A lot of that was business minded. He talks about it. Walt even admits it in an interview. It's the adults that have the money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure a lot of that was part of the Disneyland equation, where he wanted a place where even the adults would have fun. But Walt Disney knew it way back then, even, like, you have to appeal to the adults too. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just appeal to little kids. You want the adults clamoring to go back, And I think that was one of the big successes too when it came to like animation even. Like when adults started having a good time in the theater, when adults took their kids to go see Toy Story, and the adults walked out of that theater going, wow, that was an amazing movie. Or adults took their kids to go see Beauty and the Beast. wow, that was an incredible movie. They liked it too. You know what I'm saying? And when you get the adults hyped, I think there's way more potential there. So Lego, come on. Plus, come on, this dude right here. What if a guy like Benny just wants to go to the park, bro? He doesn't have any kids, Come on, let's give Benny some shit to do, right? I mean, come on. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing too is, Lego. Okay, Lego. The reason why they sold the like the Legoland parks to Merlin was because I think like 2008 or 2009 they were stressed like for money, right? They were doing really bad. They sold the park, but here's the thing though. In the beginning and through that time, they were only focusing their toys, the Lego toys, on like for children. These CEOs and executives were just trying to market just to the kids. It wasn't until then they changed their strategy, which is why you have something now, a acronym, AFOL or AFOL, whatever, AFOL, Adult Fans of Lego, that when they started partying with different IPs, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, blah, 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 where adults like, oh, crap, that is awesome. I want to buy that. And here's the thing. Lego has always been a quality toy company, right?
Yeah.
They've always made a good product. However, they haven't always marketed the product the best. And now they are. And another big exciting news regarding Lego is that they just partnered with Pokemon. Like, that is big. And I'm surprised it's taken this long for them to do that. I don't know what the issue is with Game Freak or whatever for that, but a lot of adults, especially our age, grew up on Pokemon. People still do Pokemon cards and play Pokemon games. That's huge. So, this could even be potential for a future park expansion, maybe having Pokemon in the park. That'd be dope.
And not to mention, too, now that they would be taking a jab at Universal, because I'm for sure they damn well know Universal is trying to get the Pokemon into the parks as well. So, again, it's a small park, but it would give off a big statement. The fact that they're going into the space theme, that they're taking their shot at Disney, if they go with the Pokemon route, that's a shot at Universal. So the fact that Legoland wants to be in the same sandbox as the big dogs, as I said, I commend them on it. But everything that you just said, Ebba, pretty much just sums up my whole outlook on things. Mm-hmm. Gearing towards kids doesn't amount to shit.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing too, right? If you do a more adult or older Lego park, right? I would lean into, because you said it yourself, Ebba, like with these Lego sets, a lot of these Lego sets, like the one that you do we have a show here on the channel, live show, Lego Live Spider Days, hosted by this guy, where he will do a build. He'll talk to everybody and do a build, right? And you're building the DeLorean from Back to the Future. A lot of those nerdy sets, a lot of older people like that stuff. So if I was Lego, I would make an older park. Maybe you separate your kid park from your older park. That's fine. Make an older park and kind of lean into that nerdiness and do a lot of licensing deals, So do a whole land based on Lord of the Rings, license it out, like talk to Warner Brothers, do a whole land based on Lord of the Rings, but have it be epic, bro. Like have a crazy Lord of the Rings Lego area, or do a different area where it's some other Warner Brothers property or what have you, but really lean into these other franchises, because Lego, obviously, they don't have their own IP, really. I mean, they do, but they don't have not like Universal or Disney, right? So for Lego, I would partner. I would do licensing deals like crazy. Like I would talk to Warner Brothers. I'd even talk to Universal. Maybe even Disney might want to get in on that. Maybe Disney.
I was just going to say, bro, because like even some of the video games, based off of like the movies, like you have the Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, you have Lego Indiana Jones, you have Lego Harry Potter. So even some of the movies that were already made by Lego, the Lego Batman movie. So, there may be some loopholes where they could utilize other studios and companies' IP, but do it in the way that Lego does it, where it's not necessarily copying, but it would be in the way of how Lego visionize like with the video game industry and their own films.
Well, this is actually. Oh, sorry. Would you go ahead? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say too, like, you know, Disney seems to be hesitant to do anything in the theme parks for Kingdom Hearts. Well, if Lego could license that out, get the license from Disney, and you have a more adult, older, I don't want to say adult, but like an older skewing Lego park, you could do a Kingdom Hearts Lego area in your Lego park. I mean, that kind of stuff would be a lot of fun, and it would give Disney a lot of flexibility where it's like, okay, we don't really want to do a Kingdom Hearts thing in our Disney parks, but it's still a cool franchise. Why don't we let Lego do that? You know, there's a lot of opportunity there.
I think the reason why they're not doing any licensing stuff is where they have in the past with Indiana Jones and Star Wars, like I said. But I think it's because now that Disney owns those franchises, it would be very, very expensive for them to get the license from. And Merlin, like, you know, they don't have Disney money. Legoland doesn't have Disney money just to like be like, okay, you know, let me use that. So I think they're trying to be more strategic in which partnerships they do. For example, okay, even though it's not adult, but it's in moving towards that realm, and I think it's just going to snowball. You know, we did the video with Slimer OG on the Merlin partnered with Minecraft.
Yeah,
that's a video game. You know, or adults play video games. You know, yeah, is Minecraft like the most adult, crazy, gory video game ever? No, but a lot of adults play Minecraft. They make Hogwarts stuff in it. You know, they build all this crazy stuff in Minecraft, and I think we're going to snowball into more partnerships with video game IPs. And here's the other cool thing. Another kind of snowball effect. Because George, you brought up the games, right? Like Lego Star Wars, Indiana Jones, that stuff, right? Lego itself just announced about a few weeks ago or so that they are going to start or they want to move their games to be made in-house.
Interesting.
So I think that's interesting because it shows that they're starting to have more confidence in their product, but themselves as a company, and they want to dip their toe into developing things on their own accord. Yeah, and I think that's cool because again, their toy product is a quality product. Can they do that for other mediums of entertainment? That's the big question.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that quality mission statement definitely can transfer over to other areas. I mean, it's an evergreen sort of all-encompassing sort of thing. If they know how to crack the code with quality toys, you know, in theory, they should be able to do that across the board. So it's kind of interesting to see them start doing more and more in-house stuff. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. So a lot of interesting stuff, man. A lot of interesting stuff. And here's the thing, I appreciate these videos because I am not too versed. I've never been to Legoland, but that's going to change in a couple months. But I've never been to Legoland. I've always loved Legos as a kid and stuff, except for stepping on them barefoot. That fucking sucks. That hurts. But in all seriousness, though, I love Lego as a brand, you know, and I'm curious about these parks, and it's interesting. It's been a learning experience for me, so I appreciate this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all for today's WEBISODE episode here on OG 55. I like to thank my two gorgeous gentlemen over here. We got OG, the man himself. Brother, where can everybody find you at? And again, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for hosting us, Mr. Weba. And everybody, make sure you check out Lego Live Spider Days. With a banger soundtrack. I love that. I love that song. But Lego Live Spider Days are on Saturdays, but it's like occasionally whenever Eba can do it, basically. But it's always gonna fall on a Saturday. But he does a Lego build live, and you just chat it up. You ask questions and you talk theme parks. A lot of fun. We have one episode already on the channel, so make sure you check it out. But yeah, you can find me here on Orange Grove 55 doing my OG stuff usually here about theme parks, movies, you know, studio. We do a lot of corporate stuff. Trying to work out a upcoming video soon with Mr. Seymour Duck about the like the earnings, the shareholder meeting and all that. So we do a lot of stuff here on the channel, and you can also find me on Instagram, Orange Grove 55.
Awesome. George, Italiano, sir, the Italian. Where can everybody find you on social media? And thank you, brother, so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having us both on. Just like with OG, I'm kind of like a greenhorn when it comes to like with Legoland and everything, just because, you know, prior to you bringing it to my attention, I couldn't give a rat's ass. But but the fact, you know, you bring on this information, it's intriguing, and it's actually making me want to experience it, and to have that experience to visit for the first time with with you guys. Honestly, that's going to be so awesome. That's going to be an epic little mini trip, to say the least. But yeah, thanks for having me on, bro. And you could find me on social media on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me on my home base on Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info. And also check out my new YouTube channel, Citrico Central, sister channel to Orange Grove 55.
Yeah, and I just got a call from Brian Roberts. You said epic, so we're gonna have to pay him a residual fee. So fuck George.
And here's the thing too. I said epic, tying it into Legoland. He did not.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Oh, dude.
We gotta send that dude a check. Oh well.
Oh man, you know what, George? Just for that, I think we gotta call Papa Iger and have him revoke your special access, bro.
I think so.
Well, I just have one thing to say to Brian Roberts. The best thing that you can do, Mr. Roberts, is Lego.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Lego. Exactly. But thank you, Mr. Robo, for having us on. Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys next time here on OG 55.
Thank you for watching OG 55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.